So we admins have been talking about the fervor that of those early seasons, the fervor among the Hearties in the early seasons, the first time you get that retweet from Brian Bird, or the first time Brian Bird pops into your Hearties party, either via Skype, Zoom, or even in person. You did that sometimes. I remember when you Skyped into our Southeastern Hearties party after season 2. That was very cool. So
Yes.
it's always a magical moment when things like that happen. So tell us about how you and the whole team involved with Calls the Heart maintain that ability to create the awe and the magic year after year. It's amazing.
Well, I have to just take my hat off to everybody involved with the show who participates even during show night, on Twitter and on Facebook and on Instagram, reposting, sharing, retweeting, talking back. That's a big commitment. The show has been finished for those actors. The show has been finished since last October, right? They haven't. Now they had to go and do some post-production work and some looping and ADR work after that, but they've pretty much been done with the show since last October, and yet they're back right now, 4 or 5 months later, dive bombing the show on Sunday nights, giving up their Sunday nights, and other things that they have in their lives to participate in this vibrant, robust community. And I have to be honest, we didn't invent this. You guys did. You started it. And so we're trying to participate in every way we can. And the one thing we will take credit for early in the show, and I'm honored to have made this statement to everybody. In season 1, when we started to notice the feedback we were getting on social media, I just made a rule. I just said every Heartie deserves an answer of some kind. Now, sometimes that's a retweet, right? Or it's a like, or, we can't actually have open dialogue everywhere up and down the line because there are thousands of people engaged in this now. So tens of thousands even. So we just have stuck by that. And it does my heart so good when I see our cast talking back to the Hearties.
We love it. We love it.
Yeah, and coming on and doing heart to heart and doing being involved in interviews and podcasts and all of that. I love that because they are committed and they love the Hearties. The Hearties have stuck with us through thick and thin. We're sticking with the Hearties through thick and thin too, right? We're not going anywhere.
Because we're not either.
Yeah, well, we love the admins. Honestly, you guys work so hard for the Hearties community. You're so devoted to the show. You don't necessarily have to agree with everything that happens on the show, but you love the community so much. And it's like not everybody agrees in Hope Valley either, but everybody in Hope Valley wants Hope Valley to thrive. Right. And I really see that as a metaphor for the Hearties world, the Hearties universe. And we don't always have to agree, and we won't. Every human beings, we all come from different places. We all think differently. We all have different backgrounds, different life experiences, different hurts, habits, and hangups. Right? We all do. We're all broken a little bit. And when we band together to try to make it through, it doesn't necessarily always go perfectly, but it goes forward, and it goes forward with love and honor and Lord willing, a lot of grace. And sometimes it doesn't feel that way on both sides of this relationship between the Hearties and the people involved in the show, but just know all of you Hearties out there who are watching this, know that we love you. I mean, we don't, there's not a condescending bone in our body. We are learning from you. We hope you are learning from us. We can agree to disagree without being disagreeable on some things. I think most of the time we agree with each other on most everything. But, there are those things where we're going to just, there's going to be a bit of a divide, but that's okay. Every family experiences that. You're never going to agree on everything, but that doesn't mean you can't still be family. So we, honestly, and your question is great, because I have felt more than ever in this 9th season, Lord willing, going on 10 seasons, a sense of nostalgia about those early years. Mm-hmm. And, you go back and you look at some of the photos and some of the pictures, and you think back on our Hearties family reunions that we staged. We had 5 of them before COVID sort of, put a wet blanket on our party spirit. Those are some of the most meaningful things that Patty, my wife, and I have ever experienced in our lives. And you guys have all been part of helping to organize those and been there as superhero volunteers to help pull them off and to make them work. It's not an easy thing to wrangle 500 Hearties who want desperately to see and touch and feel and meet and greet and all of those things. Mm-hmm. It's not easy to pull that off. And this team and others who have been there for us, we could never have pulled that off. But there's some of the best memories of my life, honestly. And that's why I said, if it all ended for me now, right, I could finish my life feeling like I had accomplished something really meaningful, or been part of a movement that had accomplished something really meaningful. And the very best legacy, and I'm right about this, and nobody will ever be able to dissuade me from this. The very best legacy of When Calls the Heart is not When Calls the Heart. It's the Hearties. It's the fact that there are, we think, we tried to count them a couple last season. We think there are over 2 million people who call themselves Hearties.
And we just don't stay still long enough for you to count us, probably.
No. It's hard. Yeah. It's hard. It's hard to count everybody, but we think there are about 2 million people who would self-identify as Hearties out there, on all the different platforms and their own fan pages and so forth. And those people, for the most part, are BFFs, like you guys. You hang together, you meet up when you can.
Take vacations.
Yeah.
Take vacations.
Yes.
That's amazing. That's amazing. You and these Hearties parties that you mentioned, I went to several of them live in the second season of the show. Wherever I would go, I would announce, if I was on the road, I would just say, hey, I'm heading this direction. Does anybody want to hang out? And we had several live, Hearties parties that took place that way. But they care about each other. They pray for one another. They bring food to each other when they're sick. Especially the ones that are in a local community. And that's the result of this little old show that we put together. That's a massive thing to me. So that is a legacy that will live on forever. You guys will always be friends, right? And you didn't know each other before. You didn't know each other before this.
No, we did not.
I'm taking credit for that.
We give it to you. We'll give you the credit for that.